As of 5 p.m., we have 465 active candidates, which breaks down 38 for mayor, 279 for council, and 148 for all of the various school board trustees. Compared to 2003, we had 345 total candidates, which broke down 44 for mayor, 199 for councillor, and 102 for trustee. We currently have 2 acclamations, one in the Public French School Board, Ward 4, Alain Masson, and in the separate French Catholic School Board, Ward 4, Claude Leger. Today we had 38 nominees file their nomination papers, and compared to 2003 we had 59, so we did see a little decline today. But overall, nominations have been up throughout the course of this year, and that's been consistent from the very first day. In January 3rd, we took in 29 nominations on the first day, and we have seen a consistent increase in nominations on a month-to-month basis throughout the entire nomination period.
How does this compare to years gone by? Is this the biggest slate of candidates?
This is the biggest slate of candidates we've had since amalgamation, yes. Well, I think the response has been fantastic. I think we've seen that there is a great deal of interest in this year's municipal election. Candidates throughout the course of the year have been quite engaged in the process, and that certainly has been shown by the total number of candidates that we've received.
I'm sorry, can you tell me again, very good, Jim Larson, start.
Sure.
Get your spelling?
Yeah, it's ESS,
right.
ENSA.
Essensa?
Yes.
Director of Election Services?
Yes.
And can you tell me again the names of the 2 candidates and which?
The 2 candidates are for Public French School Board, Ward 4, Alain Masson, M-A-S-S-O-N.
M-A-S-S-O-N?
That's right.
Okay.
And for the French Catholic School Board?
Separate?
Yes, separate school board.
Separate French?
That's right. Ward 4, Claude Leger, spelled L-E-G-A-R-E. And we will have copies momentarily of all the nominations for you today. You're welcome to take
What's the next step to do then?
The next step is, under the Municipal Elections Act, as of Monday, any candidate can withdraw their nominations. Those withdrawals take effect up until 5 p.m. Once the withdrawal period is over, the city will then quickly move towards starting to begin the printing process of the ballots and start to prepare as well for the first advance vote, which is beginning on October 23rd in each of our civic centers.
How big are these ballots going to be? 38 people for mayor or something like that, and races in every ward in the city?
The ballots will be full. There's no question about it. Last election we had 44 candidates for mayor, and that necessitated the first time that we had to go to 2 columns for the office of mayor. So again, we will be in 2 columns. The ballots will have a considerable number of candidates on them, but it'll still be the same size as what we had in 2003.
With the 250,000 people that were not, the addresses weren't correct, and you only got like 9 or 10% return. Are you expecting long lines of people that'll show up on election day with their ID, hoping to vote?
The city is engaged in a fairly significant outreach program because of the issues with impact and the unconfirmed voter strategy. I wouldn't necessarily qualify it that voters' addresses were unknown. It was more a consideration as to whether the voter was in fact qualified to be on the voters list. It was the issue that MPAC had identified for the city. In consideration of that, the city did undertake its outreach strategy, and based on the turnout to date, we have as well taken on further strategies to try and communicate with all of the electorates in the various communities about getting their name onto the voters list. We've increased our outreach through various ethnic media buys. We've also engaged the community cultural organizations in various communities to help us disseminate the message out to those areas to help people understand that it is important for them to get onto the voters list in advance of election day. So we're hoping that those initiatives
Will will they encounter long lines? Will there be enough staff on hand at the various polls?
We're very cognizant of this issue, and we've certainly relooked at our staffing models in consideration of that. Yes.
With the scrum, I can see that the followers from Markham to have their online program, online voting.
It's not something the City Council has given consideration to at this point. Prior to the 2000 municipal election, City Council was presented several options on looking at various means of voting. Council at the time chose the current method that we have in place today, which is a full-level optical scan system where we have each individual elector is given their own individual paper ballot that they fill out. The ballot is scanned very much in a similar fashion as a beneficiaries. It is scanned, the information is recorded, the system works, and we have been extremely successful with this system. We have used it effectively across Canada in a variety of contract elections. The fact that I think the council most engaged or was engaged in liking to use this system is it ensures that the elector is the one who ensures that their vote is counted. Because if the vote tabulator does not recognize the vote, it returns the ballot to the elector, so the elector can make the correction. The system does not allow any elector to be disenfranchised from the election.
What should somebody do if they don't think they're on the voters list or they're not sure?
If they're not sure, they should call 338-1111, and they can call that 24 hours, and someone will be able to get back to them and provide them with some information as to whether they're on the voters list. We are currently in the revision period now, whereby any elector can come to any of the civic centers and get a revision form and have their name added back onto the voters list.
Will there be an outreach, will there be an outreach to try to increase voter turnout this year, an advertising campaign, anything like that?
Very much. We have a election tabloid which will go out the week of October 16th. The tabloid goes to every single household and it outlines the process to vote, when advance vote opportunities are available, how electors can get as much information as possible on the voting process and procedure, and any particular issue that a voter may encounter, whether they need an interpreter at the polls, whether they need a friend at the polls, all of that information is there. As well, because of the issues pertaining to the voters list, we have looked at some additional communications and marketing strategies that again will come out closer to election day.
So will we see a media buy, things like that?
Correct,
Newspaper,
yes.
TV?
The other important issue is we are doing our media kickoff, our launch, on October the 18th, and that will be done at the election warehouse. That's located at 3 Dome Avenue, and you'll all be getting notification of that. At that point, the city clerk and myself, we will outline the entire electoral process in detail, some of the communication strategies that we're looking at, as well as give you an opportunity to tour our warehouse to see the vote tabulators and all of the equipment review was.
What was turnout last time?
38%.
Do you guys have a target?
It's difficult to say at this point, given the uncertainty we had through the voters list earlier this year.
What was that? I'm sorry, I'm fairly new to this. What was the uncertainty with the voters list?
The issue that this election was the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, which is the Crown agency that is responsible for providing all municipalities with their voters list. This time, for the first time ever, they identified on the list individuals who they could not confirm citizenship, they could not confirm eligibility. So when the city received a list of 1.7 million people, on it were 277,000 individuals whose eligibility they could not confirm. Effectively, MPAC identified that with a U beside their name. So the city undertook what was called the unconfirmed voter strategy, where we mailed out information to all these individuals and requested that they submit information back to us to confirm eligibility. Those who did not, their names were removed from the voters list.
So you excuse me, what's the number of the unconfirmed voters?
The number of the unconfirmed is approximately 250,000.
50,000?
Yes.
Across
Yes, across the city.
and you have already discounted information and reviewed to the after election?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.